Welcome back. Now, if you've listened to chapters 1 and 2, you now know who the Proud Boys really are. In chapter 3, we'll explore the truth about the Proud Boys and politics in America. Because if you've only seen what the mainstream media wants you to see, you might believe the narrative that Proud Boys are right-wing, ultra-conservative, misogynist group of men who slavishly follow Trump and do his every bidding. Look, if you believed any of those things, you were sadly and badly misinformed. Would you like to hear the real politics of the Proud Boys? Now remember, each chapter is independently run, like a local club. They share the same belief that the West is the best, and that in itself might be a political belief. But when it comes to parties, the Proud Boys enjoy a different definition than the swamp creatures who live in D.C. Let's listen and learn. There's been a lot of identification of the Proud Boys with Trump. How does the Proud Boys stand politically? How do you stand politically?
Well, I've always been hardcore Republican since the day I think I came out of my mom's womb, and the reason for that is being Hispanic, coming from a communist country that my family had to fled from back in the '60s. It's something that's dear to me, especially my grandfather still. The pride of being American and
Yes,
joining the military, because I would never like to see this country go to hell. Pretty much, I'm Republican. A lot of other guys are constitutionalists. You have libertarians. You have, even NPAs, nonpartisan. And I think I even met one guy at one time that he was a liberal, but not the hardcore.
not a flaming liberal.
Right, exactly. And the way he sounded, we were like, wait, you sound more Republican than the left.
Well, that sounds like a pretty diverse political group.
Pretty much, yeah. There's stuff that some of these guys agree on that I might not agree, or some stuff I agree that they might not agree, and different things. So, and at the end of the day, it's not like we're going to be at each other's throat or anything. Respect each other's opinions and go from there.
I have to say that's a very different story than what most people think of the Proud Boys. I appreciate you sharing that with me, because I think America has a stilted idea of who and what the Proud Boys are.
We're not really the rally type. Into the whole thing happened with Trump, and some of us don't even like going to rallies. And the reason we started getting off our butt was like we felt we needed to do a little bit more, especially with Antifa out there and prayer groups in Portland. That's when it started getting more involved.
Well, maybe that's where people have mistaken the militant concept, because you have acted as protectors for people who have been protesting on the conservative side, or rallying on the conservative side, or even just publicly speaking on the conservative side. And you guys have taken injury. In fact, near fatal attacks.
We don't start crap, but we sure as hell will finish it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's being a patriot is essentially what it is. But yeah, the political activism is really a very, very small piece of what we're about. It's really about the betterment of men, making each other better, and giving each other a sense of belonging and camaraderie amidst, a culture that wants to, demasculinize men and tell you that you're not, supposed to be proud of yourself. And we do a lot of community events, but we mostly do a lot of, camping trips, things like that, and just gathering, getting out and going having a beer with the guys. That's most of what we do right there.
Yeah, we actually, we at the root of it all, we keep it simple. It is a men's fraternity. But yeah, we like to help our community, and we are also active with, supporting patriot movements such as local flag waves and whatnot. We show up and keep them safe. While people exercise their First Amendment, we show up and we just make sure that nothing goes wrong. So.
Yep, and I've been at an event where you guys were very necessary. So I think that's really. I don't think people realize that you guys basically make sure nobody gets hurt by outside forces when people come to exercise their First Amendment rights. And who would thought in America that you'd get attacked for saying for speaking your piece? But that's the way it is in our country right now.
But yeah, we want to, and there's nothing wrong in my eyes with preserving the Western culture. I teach my kids to love our country and never take a knee before our flag, and always say the pledge with conviction. These are things. It's so sad when you look. They're trying to make girls out of our boys and boys out of our girls, and these kids are so confused. They need leadership by good, strong men.
So
It's just one of those deals, Tim, where like there's so much misinformation, and knowledge is always power. Knowledge breeds awareness, and misinformation breeds contempt, as we see all the time. But yeah, knowledge is power, and
well, I think it's time for the truth to come out about a lot of things, and it's time for even mainstream media to either start speaking truth or just go away and let somebody else do it. There's no more journalism in this country. It seems to be all commentators nowadays, and
yeah, it's all op-eds.
Yeah, we have enough talking heads to go around 15 or 16 times, so I think it's time that the crowd gets thinned. Now, I don't want you to think that Proud Boys don't have politics, because they do, and they care deeply about them. Let's just ask Gabe Garcia. Hey, Mr. Gabe, Captain Gabe Garcia from the Miami area, who works very actively with the GOP. How you doing today, Gabe?
Good. How about yourself, Tim?
I'm ready for the elections that are coming right around the corner. I wanted you to tell us a little bit. I understand you've run for Florida House before.
Correct. I ran for state representative in 2020 for District 116 here in Miami, Florida. And then shortly after that, got involved more with the GOP and became a REC member, which is the Republican Executive Committee we have down here in Miami, Florida.
That's great. So tell us why you joined. Why did you decide to run for office? I mean, that's generally something that, people are committing a career in politics, and you're right out of the Army, a business owner. Why did you feel the need to run?
The GOP right now, the Republican Party here in Miami, Florida, like I said in my interview before, I feel it's like the Jeb Bush good old Republican club that you have in your country club, because you have all these older folks that pretty much don't want to do as much as they probably used to back then, and I feel it's not their fault. There's a lot of young people. There's a big disconnect in ages and age groups, and it doesn't matter what age you are. You could be 18 and get involved at a young age, or 80 years old and make some phone calls. It doesn't matter. We have to get out there and continue to get people to come out and vote.
Yep. Well, what's your plan? I know you're active in the GOP, though you're not running this time. What's your plan for supporting the progress of this next election? I know we're very concerned about election integrity, about mail-in ballots, about the security of our election process and machines. How are you getting involved this year?
Well, the reason I joined, I have other friends that have joined the GOP as well, is pretty much I know the New York Times put a hit piece on us, and they think we have this massive takeover. When I say we, they automatically associate everyone as a Proud Boy that's in there that we know. And here's the plan, and I'll say it here for your viewers and your audience could know. I'm going to lay out the plan. It's very simple. We're going to get voters, register them to vote, and make sure people are going out to vote, and trying to raise funds as well for candidates that are not rhinos. And the GOP right now, the Republican Party here in Miami, Florida, like I said in my interview before, I feel it's like the Jeb Bush good old Republican club that you have in your country club, because you have all these older folks that pretty much don't want to do as much as they probably used to back then, and I feel it's not their fault. There's a lot of young people. There's a big disconnect in ages and age groups, and it doesn't matter what age you are. You could be 18 and get involved at a young age, or 80 years old and make some phone calls. It doesn't matter. We have to get out there and continue to get people to come out and vote.
Yep.
In numbers, as well as sign up. Very important to do poll watching, which is another big one.
Well, there you have it. The Proud Boys are pretty much like any other person around here. They've got their politics. Some are conservative, some are middle ground. Not a lot are left. But that doesn't make them ultra MAGA, and it doesn't make them dangerous conservatives, and it certainly doesn't make them insurrectionists. So now, there's another myth exploded, hopefully for you. and your knowledge of who and what the Proud Boys are has just increased. But we're going to do even more. In the next chapter, we're going to explore the ministry of self-defense. Stay tuned.